Welcome back. Will Worsham joined us now for this week's Speaking Legal Discussion. Always good to see you.
Thanks
for coming in.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
You ready for this one?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I was stopped at the DWI checkpoint this weekend. I didn't get arrested, but it seemed odd and a little scary just to get pulled over randomly. Is this really okay?
Well, the short answer is conditionally, yes, it is okay. So the whole thought process that goes into this is a little bit convoluted. So we have to start with some constitutional issues, one of which is, generally speaking, it's not okay for the police to just start stopping people and checking them.
Right.
We don't believe in that in this country.
Right.
It's considered unconstitutional. You have a right to free travel and to not be interrupted and molested by government officials.
Right.
So the question is, well, then why do we get to have DWI checkpoints?
Right.
Any overarching public policy can kind of be overcome by another public policy. And in this case, we have decided, and probably rightly so, that drunk driving poses such a danger to the community
Right.
that it's okay for the police to infringe on our rights a little bit if they have a really good reason to do so.
Okay.
So whenever there's a checkpoint case like this, the police have to actually go through a fairly detailed analysis and workup before they can do that. They create what's called an operating order, and this is an order that is put in place, and it's going to say, we're going to conduct a checkpoint at this location at this and this time, and the reason we're going to do that is because we've done a statistical analysis and we have determined that there is a higher concentration of alcohol-related driving occurrences that generally occurs in this situation at this period of time. So we think that by doing this, we're going to keep the public safe because we're going to catch people drinking and driving that are a threat to others before they actually cause any harm. And so as this got litigated up through the courts, ultimately the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court said, you know what, in certain limited circumstances where we go through the analysis and we really believe that this is okay, and if the checkpoint is conducted so that it is as least intrusive as possible, we're going to say it's okay.
You also, you said one thing that I kind of, certain limited. So this isn't something that can be thrown around willy-nilly, and it really has to be researched. It can't just be, well, I think it's where, a lot of drunk people drive by here. It's not based on that.
No, it can't be. In fact, when I've reviewed operating orders for DWI checkpoints in the past, generally speaking, we're going to get, if it's done correctly, a detailed list that will talk about the statistical analysis that the officer, the command officer that put the checkpoint together decided.
Well, I was going to ask you, where does that come from? Who makes the decision?
Well, the decision is made by whoever puts the checkpoint together, and normally in this area they're cooperative efforts. So if you go through one, you'll probably see Springfield police officers, Greene County sheriff's deputies, and highway patrolmen all working together to man the checkpoint.
Okay, now you said in this country you're allowed free travel, this, that, the other thing. Are you required to pull over? Are you playing some nasty percentages if you don't? Outside of someone's going to chase you, possibly.
Exactly. You are required to pull over. If an officer asks you to stop, you need to stop. It's a reasonable request of a law enforcement officer. They can only detain you for a certain period of time. Once specifically they determine there's nothing going on, you're not intoxicated, then they have to let you go. They have to move that through. There's some other criteria around checkpoint cases that are also in place. One is which, if traffic starts getting backed up where people are having to wait 5, 10, 15 minutes because of this, they got to start waving people through. They can't interfere with the free commerce with people traveling through. So if it gets congested, they're going to wave a bunch of cars through and clear up the congestion.
Is this one of these instances where you can say, no, I'm not going to take that breathalyzer?
Well, you can always say, no, I'm not going to take that breathalyzer test. Now, there may be consequences that we've talked about before.
Of course, we've done that before.
Implied consent rule, when you drive on Missouri roads, you are giving your consent to law enforcement to test your blood alcohol content if they have reasonable suspicion to do so. If you refuse, you're withdrawing that implied consent, and therefore they can withdraw your permission to drive on those roads. And they will, and they do.
Okay.
Pretty simple. Just a good idea, don't mess with them.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, just real quick, I was just going to say, I've heard people say, oh, right next to the bar or whatever, the police officers will sit out there and target that. Is that
That's a completely different issue. Okay. That's not a checkpoint. That's a police officer stalking a particular location. That may or may not be okay, depending on a lot of other factors that may come into that.
Same kind of. Okay.
I'm always amazed at this because whenever they're going to do a checkpoint, they always announce where the checkpoint is.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not a surprise.
And we usually find out about it, and we usually put that out there for people as well.
Yeah.
Not for people to avoid them, but for people to understand this is something.
This is happening.
This is an activity to avoid.
Yeah.
Drinking and driving is a bad idea. The reason they publish it, the reason we publish it, is to be a deterrent to drunk drivers.
Right.
Right.
All right. Will,
Thanks,
thanks a lot,
Will.
You're
as
welcome.
always. All right, if you have a legal question for Will, you can email him at wworsham@color10.com. That's WORSHAM. I'll try it again. WORSHAM at color10.com. And, of course, he'll answer your question on the show. Thanks, Will.
Thank
You're welcome.
you.
All right, coming up, we're going to see what Show Me Systems is all about. You don't want to miss this. Don't go away.
Okay, thank you.
It's a brand new year at the Bald Knobbers, and 2016 is going to be our best year yet. New songs, new acts, and enough of the same old stuff that's made our show great for so many years. Come on down and see us. Reserve your seats to the show that started it all, the Bald Knobbers.
Whether heating your home, farm, or business, an Earth Outdoor wood furnace can handle your needs.
For us, it's no question. An Earth Outdoor furnace is the way we heat our home. Earth Outdoors, it's a way of life.
Buongiorno. I'm Kelly Smith, inviting Color 10 and KOZL viewers to join me on a tour to explore Tuscany and the Italian Riviera. We'll enjoy 4 nights in the heart of Tuscany, visit Florence and